The point of being an artist is to be charismatic and to use creativity as a tool to play your role in the world, whatever role it is that you want to play, whatever role it is that makes you feel joy. But I want to lean on this idea of charisma for this full moon in Leo because it's easy to say it's a very creative time, a very romantic time, could be even a very playful time. These are all archetypes associated with the sign of Leo. Truly, the Leo full moon is a moment in time. It's a span of a few days where the moon will be at its peak in the sign of Leo, but then the moon continues moving and the sun will stay in Aquarius for a bit longer. I think the lesson of the Leo full moon is about how to be charismatic in yourself and know your role within the larger collective. There's the doubling down of an interesting interplay on the personal versus the collective. And that's because the ultimate rulers of this full moon are Venus and Uranus, which are making a mutual reception to each other. There is something or someone that is uniquely relating to us within a group. That relationship, which is a Venus function, and it doesn't have to be a person, but Venus is where we are open to things outside of us, right? It's like where you can reach in and where you can reach out and where someone can reach in to you. And so that's where we can meet people. That's where we can exchange things. And generally, they're things that we want from a subjective sensory perspective. And Venus is in Aquarius right now, which means that we are really open to our minds. We're open to groups of many people. We're open to being on the edge of something, even because Aquarius is all about what is right at the edge, what is still coming in fully to consciousness, what we're kind of bringing down from our mind, from the algorithm. It's right at the edge of the known. And so Venus being there means we are really open to new things. We are open to new people. And the ruler of Venus, being Uranus in Taurus, says that we are intrinsically connected to the intelligence of our sensory reality right now. We're uniquely connected to the intelligence of what we want, the intelligence of what will keep us biologically happy, what will keep us well fed, well resourced. That's Uranus at the very late degrees of Taurus. And then, of course, Venus is the ruler of Taurus. And so we have what's called a mutual reception between Uranus, which is, again, the function of the edge of the known, which, by the way, is also the ruler of the sun, everything else in Aquarius right now. And then Venus in Aquarius, which is where we are uniquely open to new ideas, new technology, and ultimately where we are open to the part of ourselves that we don't really know yet either, but we are sharing from that place and really beginning a lot of new relationships from that place as well, especially because we've just come off many, many conjunctions of the inner planets to Pluto in the last week and a half. So it's interesting because this full moon in Leo is very subjective, okay? It's the opposite of Aquarius. And Aquarius is that detached perspective of community, of like, oh, this is what's good for all of us. I am you, you are me. It's all or nothing. We're all together. Whereas Leo is the charismatic leader. Leo is the pop star on the stage that's radiating light and giving everybody a reason to come together for the most part, right? If you think about the actual sun in the sky, which is, the sun is the ruler of Leo, then you see that the sun shines indiscriminately on everybody and allows everyone to grow and to live and to be alive at all, right? The sun is what gives us life here on Earth in the most direct sense. And so it's interesting though, because then the sun is actually the ruler of the Leo full moon. And so we get back to the Aquarius rulership, the sun in Aquarius ruling the Leo full moon, and then Uranus and Taurus ruling the sun in Aquarius, and then the Venus, Uranus, mutual reception, as I mentioned at the start here. So there's something very specific, personal about how we are charismatically leading our lives within the context of a larger group. And while it's a Leo full moon, there's just way too much emphasis on the collective, on what's new, for me to really think that there's anything overly personal that's going to come out of this Leo full moon, especially because we're at the end of so many other cycles. Actually, just one. What am I saying? Just one other huge cycle, which is the Neptune-Saturn cycle. And truly, this is the last lunation before eclipse season starts, before the end of February, which is a totally revolutionary moment. And so I'm going to pull up the chart now and explain all of this in a little bit more detail. But I hope you are understanding at this moment that there's an interplay at this full moon over this weekend. There's an interplay between what is personally our role, which is Leo. Like, what is your creative, personal, individual role? Like, the sun's role in the solar system is to shine light on Earth, but there are so many other suns. Like, there's not just one sun. So there's a question of what is our personal, individual role? And that does have to do with joy, that does have to do with creation. But ultimately, the context of the larger group collective right now is so strong that I think the creativity and the charisma is a side thing. As I said, here's our full moon in the sign of Leo. It's kind of just hanging out, okay? There's not any super crazy aspects happening. It's opposite to everything that's already been going on in Aquarius. And so it's heightening everything we've already been through in the last week and a half when all of these planets, Mars, Sun, Venus, Mercury, they all made a conjunction to Pluto, which is a lot about putting your intimate relationships through a, a stress test, basically. Like, ultimately, it's just checking, and it's what it's wanting to do, these Pluto conjunctions was to widen your capacity to hold an intimate relationship, from a very objective perspective, and widen your capacity to hold it too, and actually move with it, integrate it, enjoy it at the same time as knowing that it's not all that you are, knowing that you are everything that makes that possible, like all of the background of why that relationship could come up is because of all of the negative space behind it. Aquarius and Pluto in Aquarius is so much about negative space, and Pluto being in Aquarius means that our focus is very much so on that negative space, on seeing things from a bird's eye perspective. And so there's just so much weight in the Aquarian worlds right now that I just like, it'll be a powerful full moon, but it just seems to pale in comparison to what's going on in the Aquarian part of our chart at this time. I mean, especially because Neptune is now in Aries. And, I don't know. There's this very interesting void going on right now that I hope to talk more about maybe in another video. But before Neptune stepped into Aries, we had this void where it felt like nothing was existing. And my perspective as an astrologer was unconditional love. Like, all we need to focus on still now is unconditional love. But with Pisces, with Neptune and Pisces, when Saturn and Neptune were still in Pisces, there's no boundaries, there's no edges. And yet our work is still to exist in that space of formlessness and emptiness and begin to set an intention in that space. But now that Neptune is in Aries, which is a very manifested sign, Neptune being the highest truth, the objective truth. There's an edge around the objective truth now, and that edge is our every moment and our every action, okay? And so there's literally a void right now. And in like there's literally actions that have been taken maybe in your literal life. I know this is true for me, where until Saturn goes into Aries, which is February 14th, Valentine's Day, around then, like from now, from this full moon, right? Feb 1 to Feb 14, we have a literal pocket of space where the new is not there yet, but we are not completely empty. There's a spark, there's something there. But what is there is now defined by its emptiness, okay? And that's a function of this Saturn still being in a balsamic phase to Neptune, okay? I mean, insofar as this full moon itself, I think there is an element of like finding joy in our own individuality within a larger idea, within a larger group. Um, and the point is to focus on ourselves, actually, and not maybe to focus on whatever big relationship change has happened or whatever big um, ideological shift or like movement towards a new way of seeing the world. You know, we're about to really step into something huge, February 14th, and then of course February 21st when Saturn and Neptune make a conjunction to each other, February 17th when we have the new moon lunar eclipse in Aquarius over here. And so I just like these are the domino dates, right? Like 14th, 17, 21, and I think this full moon is just a little bit of a glimpse, a moment to see where you fit as an individual. Leo is about you being an individual, where you fit as an individual within the larger paradigm of social change happening right now. Within the larger paradigm of social change that's happening right now, that ultimately wants your objectivity, but you have a very specific role to play in that objectivity now. And yet, we have like a very well-defined void. Again, from now, even from, Jan 26 to especially Feb 14, when Saturn enters Aries, we have a very well-defined void of space. That is the definition defined by actions, which is Mars. Let me make some space here. This well-defined space right here, Saturn, Neptune in Aries ruled by Mars in Aquarius. This is social action that defines a space, that defines the edges of the void. And from a literal perspective, again, that edge is this date. Well, I'll say February 14th, which is when Saturn moves into Aries. I don't know. It's really interesting. I'll just reiterate, we are realizing we are the actors in our own life. We are realizing we are also, this moon is ruled by the sun in Aquarius. Sun in Aquarius is ruled by Uranus in Taurus. Uranus in Taurus is ruled by Venus in Aquarius, which is ruled by Uranus in Taurus, which is ruled by Venus. This is the mutual reception that I was mentioning here and here. So ultimately, and then actually, if you look at it, every single planet in this chart is ruled by the Venus-Uranus mutual reception. And so that means that whatever this interplay between Venus and Uranus is, however that's manifesting in your life, That's what's wanting to happen right now. And actually, in the days following, Venus is going to make a square to Uranus, which is kind of interesting, but I'm not going to go there just yet. What it's pointing to for me is that there is change. This is the last quarter square ultimately. So we are um, throwing off what we think we know. We're throwing off what we think our mind is doing, and we are meant to focus on the intelligence of what we want. Okay, what you want in a material sense is Taurus, and Uranus is the intelligence of whatever wherever it goes. Like the intelligence that exists right at the edge of the known, that's Uranus. And so Uranus, it can feel as though you are either in the group or you've been ousted from the group. Those are the two things. Uranus can make you feel like you are part of something much larger than yourself, or it, by contrast, can make you feel like you have been excommunicated from where you once belonged. But either one of these scenarios gives you a understanding of your inclusion to a larger whole of a community, right? That's Aquarius, right? This Uranus is ruling all of this Aquarius stuff. Um, Everything is in Aquarius, basically. And so everything is being ruled by this mutual reception. There's something personal with Venus. Venus is an inner planet. There's something personal, intimate, relational that is keeping us connected to this Uranian function, this Uranus that's saying, shake out from what you know, be open to the edge of what you know about the Taurus things, right? The Taurus things, which is again, sensory reality, everything that feels good, everything that will keep you biologically alive and have your needs met and satisfied. Taurus is about inner resourcefulness. Okay. And so there's a group connection here, which is helping you and like intimately connected to your inner intelligence, your inner resourcefulness. Okay. And I think that this full moon, since ultimately it is also coming from the new moon that happened in Capricorn, um, it's kind of like our job to, right? The new moon in Capricorn was like around here. It's ultimately our job to be ourselves right now. I mean, it can feel like we're having to completely reinvent ourselves with this um, Neptune Saturn balsamic. And again, not until February 21st is that going to reset. But again, that very well-defined void by time, February 14th, when Saturn steps into Aries. Right now, I think this Leo full moon is letting us focus on ourself, our own creative actualization, our own emotional creative actualization too. It's not just go and be a superstar. It's like, how is how's your inner home? Is it bright? Is it warm? Like that's kind of what's wanting to be happening at this time. What else do I want to say? This might be nearing the end. Um, I think that's it. I mean, this is again last lunation before new moon in Aquarius, before these two reset, and before things completely start to be rebuilt on February 21st. And so the next time we have a full moon, it'll be here and it will actually be an eclipse. It'll be like one of the final lunar eclipses in Virgo. And that, it'll be Pisces season. We will be in this new phase between Saturn and Neptune. And so that full moon, which will be a month from now, it'll be March 1st. That's about seeing your devotion, seeing how you are choosing to put your energy in places so that the truth that continues to emanate from you. That's weird. I'm not even there yet in my mind. I'm just trying to link things together. This is like the final crescendo of who you think you are. Maybe I'll say that. Maybe that's where I'll end this. I think that makes sense to me. Um, so yeah, let me know what you think. And I hope you have a wonderful full moon and stay warm in your heart and in the world. So, goodbye for now.